All right, so in today's Ask a Coach question, we've got Asa saying, where should my mind be? Should I be thinking about my crosshair placement, my aim, my movement, visualizing the enemy, my gunplay, my mental, the things I'm working on, my teammates' comms, my utility, my positioning? You get the idea. I have no idea where my mind should be. I have a feeling that the answer is going to be something like, your mind should be where the game requires it to be. That's so bullshit. But I don't like that answer. Don't give it to me. I really hate whoever gave you that answer. I already answered this specifically for Asa, wherein I've given him notes on his VODs, and he really just has to focus on flashing and uh, prepping because he plays KO, and KO is a pretty prep heavy agent, and you really have to be comfortable with your utility, not only through prep, but also through the intuition that comes with using your utility frequently. And he's lacking on both of those quite a lot. So that's what he should be focusing on right now. Flashes, getting that flash usage up. Doesn't even have to be useful, just has to be used so that he learns what's good and what's not. However, I do want to talk about this generally. What should you generally be focusing on to improve a Valorant? And I like to think of it this way. When you play Valorant, or not even when you play Valorant, when you go about life, most of what we do is comprised of our habits. We are on autopilot 90% of the time. I'm going to Google that real quick, but it's in Atomic Habits by James Clear. We're usually on autopilot. Yo, it's only 40%. I've been saying 80 to 90 for years. All right. James Clear says 40% of it's habitual. Okie Anyways, point is, that's a large part of our day overall. Now, if you think about a Valorant game, there's a lot of stuff going on, and you can't focus on all of it. So a lot of it is going to come down to instinctive decisions, our intuition. And it's just going to come down to what we've practiced, what we've experienced, and what we can immediately execute on while using as little brain power as possible. Because if you had to constantly think actively about every part of Valorant, there's no way you could. There's too much going on. There's too many pieces of utility. There's 10 agents to keep track of. There's the economy, the ultimate economy. There's all the map metas and the agent metas and how people synergize and the playstyle of your enemies and bleh. It's too much. So instead, go into your games with a singular focus. As I mentioned before, for Asa, this singular focus is looking at, am I flashing enough? And then furthermore, in VOD review, are these flashes useful? Or he can ask that between rounds, were those flashes good or not? But his primary focus during the round is, can I use a flash? Yes or no? If yes, use it. And that's it. And that's what he focuses on. And in the past, if you want to learn how to identify your focus, then you should use the second link in the description to get access to our triple I framework for improvement. This is an in-depth guide that shows you how to VOD review, how to identify issues, how to implement solutions, and how to iterate upon them such that you guarantee your improvement. You can use the second link in the description to download it for free. Now let's get back into the VOD, where I give a little explanation of this and how I've used it myself, and how I've used it for over 100 students in my time as a coach. I've also adopted certain focuses to help myself grind. When I was grinding from Diamond 1 to Immortal 1, some of the focuses I chose were on Omen, on Attack. One of my focuses was to purely to always have a one-way available on post plant. So like on Ascent, on Ascent, I was always going to make sure. Y'all looking at it? Yeah. Okay. So I was always going to make sure that on A side Ascent, I only used one smoke, and it went here, tree, so that I could have two smokes for post plant for this one way right here. And that was my focus, to use my smokes as one ways to stall. I did a little bit on defense as well, but the primary focus was on offense on Ascent, because my offense Ascent post plants were very weak. I had a fundamental misunderstanding of one ways and how powerful they were and when they should be used. So I focused on hammering out that misunderstanding by using one ways more and by getting used to them. Another time I had a lot of trouble with understanding how to properly use Omen TPs, and that took me a while to do. And my goal actually was to have 1.5 TPs per round. So when I was looking at my performance, I was done with those notes when in a whole session, I never dropped under 1.5 TPs per round. And my sessions were 5 games long. So That's hard. And most of them were not good. And a lot of times I was just hunting for the stats. I'm like, oh, I gotta use a TP. I gotta use a TP because it's gotta be at least one per round. Holy shit, how am I gonna use a TP this round, right? And on some maps it's harder to do than on others. And doing that really taught me what TPs are good, what TPs are bad. When is a TP good? When is a TP bad? Why is it good here? Why is it bad here? Right? So you need to go in with a focus, and you need to purely be focused on that. Allow the rest of your game to be autopiloted. If your focus is on your intonation and your volume control and your ability to effectively communicate with your team, then you're going to focus on that. You're going to think back on the round. You're going to go, was I monotonous? Was I just talking like this the whole time? Is my team sick of listening to my voice? You probably want to click off of this video right now. And if you sounded like that, leave, because you're a piece of shit. So if you're working on not sounding like that, good. And this is how you do it. You make sure that there's varying intonation in your speech. You make sure that your volume is fluctuating to emphasize certain points, making sure that you're using repetition to get important points across. You make sure that you're using repetition to get important points across. And you apply that in your rank games. You use speed to display urgency, right? You don't say, hey guys, there's 3 coming A. You go, 3A, 3A, I need help. Rotate, rotate. Right? So have one focus during your games and allow the rest to just be at its baseline level of skill. That's it. You're not thinking about pressing A and D to strafe back and forth and click and hold down for 2 bullets on your bursts between for your dead zoning or whatever. You're not thinking of that. That's autopiloted. You're thinking about your focus for the game. Allow the rest to just do as is. Hope that helped.